Welcome to the Human Side of AI, a Jam.ai podcast, and I'm Flora, your host. At Jamout.ai, we believe AI allows you time to be more human. So every Monday, our AI brings you something practical you can use in your business right now to give you back more time in your life. And every Friday, I sit down with a real human who is living it out loud. If you want to go deeper, come join us in Club Jam, our AI training hub on School, or visit us at Jamout.ai. Let's dive in.
So you finally carve out 20 minutes, right, just to see what all this AI hype is actually about.
Right, you finally sit down and do it.
Yeah, and you pull up a chat box, and there it is, the blinking cursor, just staring right at you.
Oh, the worst. The completely blank screen.
It is. It's this intensely intimidating, perfectly blank white screen. So you type in something like, I don't know, write me an email to my clients about my new service.
And we all know exactly what happens next.
Right. The AI spits back this painfully generic, just soulless wall of text. I mean, it sounds like a robot wearing a suit.
That is perfectly put. A robot in a suit.
You roll your eyes, mutter, well, that's useless, and you immediately close the tab. Because, look, we have all dabbled, but dabbling is frustrating. Dabbling and then building.
It's really the universal modern frustration. You know, we were handed this incredibly powerful technology, but without a framework, it just feels like a parlor trick.
Yeah, a trick you don't quite know how to perform.
Exactly. I mean, people are trying to use a supercomputer like a magic 8-ball, and then they get annoyed when the answers are vague.
So today, our mission for this deep dive is to basically shatter that blank screen paralysis. We are going to make AI incredibly tangible and, genuinely valuable for you.
Which is so needed right now.
It really is. So we are unpacking a highly specific, structured roadmap today. It's a 6-week sprint called Zero to Claude, and it's created by Jamout.ai.
Yeah, the structure of it is brilliant.
And we are going to walk through this entire transformation with you, step by step, showing you how to move from that frustrating blank screen to a fully customized, integrated engine for your business.
What's fascinating here is the underlying philosophy of their entire curriculum. Because, this is not about replacing the business owner. Not at all.
Right, which is usually everyone's first fear.
Exactly. It is really an exploration of the human side of AI. The ultimate goal over these 6 weeks is to systematically remove the friction between you and the tool.
Buying back your time.
Buying back your time, your clarity, and preserving your creative energy for the actual strategic thinking that only you can do.
Okay, let's unpack this because I want to know how we actually get there, starting right at the beginning. Phase 1 of this program is all about conquering that blank page, right? Through the weeks 1 and 2.
Right, the setup and orientation phase.
The goal is to eradicate that blank chat box feeling by getting the workspace organized so the interface actually makes sense. But wait, let me stop right there.
Sure, go ahead.
Isn't configuring an AI just like, I don't know, filling out a glorified Mad Libs template?
A Mad Libs template.
Yeah, like put your name here, put your industry here. I mean, how much legitimate setup can there really be before you just need to start typing and get to work? It feels like we might be overcomplicating step 1.
Well, I mean, that is a very natural reaction.
Yeah.
But skipping that setup is precisely why so many people get that robot in a suit output you mentioned earlier.
Oh, so the generic output is a symptom of skipping the setup.
100%. When you treat AI like a search engine, where you just, type a quick question, the system defaults to what we call a zero-shot response.
Zero shot, meaning it has no context.
Exactly. It has zero context, so it just gives you a generic average of the entire internet back, which is boring.
Yeah, highly boring.
So what the curriculum focuses on early on is building inside what is called a Claude project.
Okay, so how does a project differ from just opening a normal chat window?
Mechanically, a Claude project acts as a dedicated partitioned workspace. Instead of starting from scratch every single time, you actually upload your core materials into the background memory of the project itself.
Like what kind of materials?
Well, you're uploading your PDFs, your past successful proposals, your style guides, things like that.
Okay, so it has a baseline of reference material.
Right, but more importantly, you set permanent custom instructions in the system prompt. These act as unbreakable rules for the AI.
Oh, wow. Unbreakable rules.
Yeah, and these prompts live in a dedicated space that you return to daily rather than, starting a completely new amnesiac chat every single time you log in.
I see. So it's essentially an architectural blueprint. Like, if I am a landscape architect, I am front-loading this workspace with my terminology, seasonal considerations, and the specific client pain points of landscaping.
Exactly. You were defining the sandbox it plays in.
So when I ask it to draft a proposal, it isn't pulling from, like, software development marketing advice. It's contained within the guardrails I build.
Precisely. You are shifting from asking a random stranger for a favor to giving a highly briefed contractor a specific task.
Okay, but having a customized workspace and a bunch of organized PDFs is really just the mechanical layer,
Sure.
because a highly briefed contractor who still sounds like a machine is, well, only so useful. To be genuinely valuable, the AI needs to stop feeling like this cold mechanical stranger and start feeling more like an insider.
Which is exactly what Week 3 is designed to solve.
Right. The shift from basic task execution to what the sprint calls the mind meld. I love that term.
The mind meld is fantastic.
Yeah.
This is where we get into the psychology of the tool. It's where Claude actually learns who you are.
Yeah, so we were talking about feeding it your brand voice, the distinct profiles of your ideal clients, your specific communication style.
Even the nuances of your offers, yeah?
Exactly. And the tangible value here for the listener is that you finally stop having to re-explain yourself over and over.
Oh, it saves so much time.
Right. You don't have to start every session with, "Hi, I am a consultant who works with mid-level managers on leadership skills, and my tone is professional but witty."
Because typing that out every day is exhausting.
It really is. You just bypass all that friction. It makes me think about hiring a chief of staff, honestly.
Oh, that's a great analogy. How so?
Well, you're taking a day one temp worker who, needs directions to the bathroom, and you're turning them into a trusted assistant who already knows exactly how you like your coffee and how you speak to your best clients.
That is perfectly said. Because context is the actual currency of AI.
Context is the currency. I like that.
Yeah. Without it, you are managing a temp. With it, you are leading a partner. If we connect this to the bigger picture, this is the pivotal moment where AI integration shifts from being a technical chore to a cognitive partnership.
The cognitive partnership.
Exactly. This whole third week is dedicated entirely to establishing that shared context. Because without shared context, AI is a burden. With it, it's a lever.
But how does that shared context physically change the output, though? Like, if I've uploaded my ideal client profile and my tone of voice, what does the day-to-day interaction actually look like?
It radically changes the input to output ratio.
Okay.
Because without shared context, like I said, it's a burden. You have to micromanage the prompt to get a decent result.
You're writing paragraphs just to get a sentence back.
Right. But with shared context, AI becomes a lever. You provide a tiny amount of input, say just 3 rough bullet points about a new coaching package.
It's just 3 bullets.
Yeah. And because the AI already possesses the structural context of your brand, your voice, and your target audience's pain points, it can extrapolate those 3 bullets into a near-finished, highly accurate sales page.
Wow. Okay, so that really is a cognitive partnership. But here is the hurdle of the next phase. Because an assistant who sounds exactly like you and understands your business deeply is still fundamentally useless if they are locked out of the building.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Like, if they don't have the keys to your filing cabinet, they can't actually do the heavy lifting. Which brings us to phase 3, the ecosystem phase, week 4.
Breaking out of the chat box.
Yes. Here's where it gets really interesting. This is where Claude is connected directly to the tools you already use every single day. Gmail, Google Calendar, Google Drive.
And this is where the theoretical potential becomes undeniable operational reality.
Yeah, and the stated ROI here is wild. Things that used to take an hour suddenly start taking 5 minutes.
It fundamentally changes the math on how we spend our workdays.
But let me stop you right there on behalf of everyone listening. Okay. We are giving an artificial intelligence access to our private emails, our calendar appointments, and our hard drives full of proprietary documents. That feels like a massive security and psychological leap.
That's a very fair point.
Right. How does a user mentally bridge that gap from viewing this as a neat text generator to an active participant in my private workspace?
This raises an important question, and it's the most critical hurdle of the entire process, the concept of digital trust.
Yeah, because handing over the keys is scary.
It is completely natural to feel hesitant about it. But let's look at the mechanics of why this integration is transformative and how it actually works securely.
Okay, lay it out for me.
When you integrate Claude with your Google Workspace, the AI isn't just indiscriminately reading everything and broadcasting it to the public internet.
Okay, that's a relief.
Right. It is utilizing secure, native integrations to act as a localized assistant. So it moves from being a reactive oracle.
Like a magical box you have to visit and plead with for answers?
Exactly. It moves from that to a proactive utility that is embedded in your daily habits.
Okay, but what does that proactive utility look like in practice? Walk me through how it actually turns an hour of work into 5 minutes.
Okay, imagine waking up to an email thread from a client that has gone back and forth 12 times overnight across different time zones.
Oh, the worst way to start a morning.
Right. Normally, you'd spend 20 minutes just reading the chain, then finding the referenced attachments in your drive.
Then you have to cross-reference your calendar to find a meeting time.
Exactly. And then you finally sit down to draft a diplomatic reply.
Which is incredibly draining before you've even had your coffee.
Precisely. Now, picture that same morning with an integrated AI. Because it has secure, localized access to your drive and calendar, the AI has already synthesized the 12-email thread into a 3-bullet summary.
Wait, before I even open it?
Yes. And it knows you were free on Thursday at 2 p.m. It has pulled the relevant pricing data from the proposal sitting in your drive, and it has drafted a reply in your exact tone of voice.
Just leaving it right there in my drafts folder.
Right there in your drafts. You open it, review it, tweak one sentence, and hit send. 5 minutes instead of an hour.
Wow. Okay, when you frame it like that, where I am still the final editor, I am still the one hitting send, but the tedious heavy lifting of gathering and synthesizing is done for me, that completely changes how I view the integration.
It really does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it isn't taking over my business. It's teeing me up to make the final executive decision.
And that removal of friction is what ultimately bridges the trust gap. You trust the system because it proves its value in your actual environment, securely and reliably.
Okay, so phase 3 gets us integrated. We have an AI that knows exactly who we are, it sounds like us, and it has secure access to our digital office. It seems like the setup is completely done.
You'd think so.
But the program doesn't stop there. The final stages, weeks 5 and 6, are all about the build and the launch. But honestly, if I've just spent weeks organizing my workspace, training the AI, and connecting my apps, well, what is left to build? Hasn't the system already been built?
Not quite. What you have built up to this point is the infrastructure. You've laid the plumbing and the electrical wire.
Okay.
The build phase, week 5, is about constructing the actual house on top of it. And the sprint is very strict about this. You are not allowed to just play around with hypotheticals anymore.
No more dabbling.
Exactly. You have to pick one real complex project from your actual business and construct an automated workflow around it, something that did not exist before.
Give me some tangible examples of what these workflows actually look like.
Sure. Let's look at a content engine. A participant might build a system where they drop a single audio transcript from a weekly podcast into a specific Google Drive folder.
Okay, just dropping the file in.
Right. And then the AI detects the new file automatically. It extracts the core themes based on the predefined brand voice, drafts 5 distinct LinkedIn posts, writes a weekly newsletter summarizing the episode, and formats a blog post.
Wait, really? All from just dropping an audio file into a folder?
Yep, all automatically queued up for your review.
That is turning one piece of raw material into a full week of localized marketing without touching a keyboard.
Exactly. Or consider an automated client intake flow. Say a prospect fills out a detailed questionnaire on your website.
Yay.
Instead of you manually reading it and typing out a response, the AI analyzes their specific answers, cross-references your current calendar availability, and drafts a highly customized welcome packet.
Oh, that's brilliant.
It specifically cites the pain points the prospect mentioned in the form and suggests which of your service tiers would be the best fit, all before the first meeting even happens.
That is a massive time saver.
The key here is that participants are building something real, something that simply did not exist in their business a week prior.
And then we get to the grand finale, week 6, the launch and share phase.
My favorite part.
So you take this complex system you just built, you ship it, and you show the group what you created. It really reminds me of the final presentation in a master class or a startup incubator.
That's a really good way to look at it.
Right, because for the first few weeks, you are basically in your bedroom learning guitar chords.
Yeah.
You're getting calluses on your fingers, figuring out how the instrument works.
Yeah.
But this launch phase is when you step onto the stage and you actually play a gig in front of a friendly crowd.
That is a brilliant way to conceptualize it. And, participants consistently refer to this final phase as the absolute turning point of their understanding. There is a deep psychological weight to this moment,
Why is that, though? Is it just the relief of finally finishing the sprint, or is there something more profound happening there?
It's really a combination of accountability and community revelation. When you are learning AI in a vacuum by yourself, it is incredibly easy to convince yourself that it only has one or two narrow use cases for your specific industry.
Oh, for sure. You think, well, it's good for writing emails and maybe summarizing articles.
Right. You get tunnel vision based on your own immediate needs.
Yeah.
But when you launch your project, and then you sit back and watch 20 other business owners launch completely different, highly customized applications,
It opens your eyes.
it shatters your preconceived notions entirely. You might watch a photographer present an automated pipeline that tags and sorts their raw image metadata based on client feedback.
Oh, wow.
Then a lawyer presents a streamlined system for cross-referencing case law against their current briefs. Then a baker shows off a predictive inventory model that adjusts ingredient orders based on upcoming local event schedules.
That would be mind-blowing. Seeing all those diverse, tangible applications from your peers proves that the technology isn't just a single tool, it's a raw material.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It solidifies the realization that AI is a landscape of endless customized solutions. Once you understand the mechanics of how to wield the tool, the only real limit is your own imagination and the specific bottlenecks of your business.
Okay, let's bring this all together for you, the listener, because this isn't just an abstract theory we're discussing today. This is an actual roadmap you can follow.
Oh, yeah, actionable.
Yes. The core takeaway from all of this is that taking the time to properly set up, contextualize, and integrate AI isn't about becoming more robotic. It is the exact opposite.
It's about allowing yourself to be more human at work.
Exactly. By offloading the repetitive, soul-crushing logistical tasks, you get to focus entirely on the relationships, the deep strategy, and the actual art of what you do.
It is the ultimate form of delegation. You are building a system that absorbs the friction of execution.
So here are the actual logistics if you are ready to stop staring at that blinking cursor. The Zero to Claude sprint officially kicks off on May 4th.
Mark your calendars.
Yep, May 4th. If you are already a Club Jam member, great news. This entire curriculum is already included for you.
Which is an amazing perk.
It really is. Now, if you are not a member, you don't have to jump in blind. Jamout.ai is offering a 7-day free trial. So you have plenty of time to get inside the platform, poke around, look at the course materials, and, decide if this structured approach is the right fit for you before Sprint 1 begins on the 4th.
It is a very low-risk way to explore what is undeniably a high-reward transformation for how you operate daily.
Absolutely. And real quick, just a heads up on what is coming next from the program. This Friday, they are having a special guest join to share some of the most surprising, unconventional ways she is actually using AI in her business right now.
Well, that's going to be good.
Yeah, it sounds like it is going to perfectly complement the concepts we talked about today, showing even more of those highly tangible, creative workflow builds. So definitely keep an ear out for that.
So what does this all mean for the future of how we work?
That's the big question.
It is. We have walked through the mechanics of the setup, the intimacy of the shared context, the operational power of workspace integration, and the thrill of the final build. But I want to leave you with a thought that extends far beyond the 6 weeks of this roadmap.
Okay, let's hear it.
If a structured process can truly take a 1-hour, complex operational task and seamlessly reduce it to 5 minutes of light oversight, what happens to our fundamental definition of a workday?
Wow. That is a massive question. Because for our entire lives, our work days have been defined by the friction of execution. We measure our productivity by how many emails we sent, how many documents we formatted, how many logistical hurdles we cleared.
Right. But when that friction is completely removed by a customized ambient intelligence, all of that traditional busy work evaporates.
It's just gone.
Gone. We are left strictly with our own raw creativity, our strategic vision, and our human connections.
Which is terrifying and exciting.
Exactly. The provocative question you have to ask yourself is this. If AI successfully gives you back all of that time and all of that creative energy, are you actually prepared for what you're going to build next?
Ooh. That's heavy, because once you finally conquer that blank, blinking cursor on the screen, you realize the blank canvas of your own potential is the only thing left to face, something to think about. Until next time, keep exploring.